Hey my friends, welcome back to my channel. Speaking of informative books, business books are by all means one of the central pillars of the category. The definition of business books extends from the economics to the innovation of business, from business value to how to improve yourself. Anyway, these bestsellers you might have read are all placed on the business shelf. 从经济学到企业的运作，从提升经济价值到实现个人价值，很多的书都被划到了商业类的书籍。And today the author from Harvard Business Review, another business magazine, is going to give us some suggestions about how to read a business book. So in approaching any business book, there are two goals. First, determine if the book can help you do your job. Second, figuring out the quickest way to extract the value. For books worth reading, the process consists of 3 steps. Compression, absorption, and application. 读商业类的书籍呢，一般有2个目标，帮你做好工作和在最短的时间内提取出有用的东西。那作者认为呢，读有价值的书一般有3个步骤 ：compression 压缩知识 ，absorption 吸取知识 ，application 应用知识。First, step back and consider the anatomy of a typical business book. The components are almost always the same: concept, numbers, tools, examples. Job to be done is to extract insights, to increase judgment and skills, to increase performance. The author extracted the building blocks and the formula of a business book. Anatomy, 解剖剖析. You could anatomy a body with a scalpel, as well as anatomy an idea or a subject with your observation and examination. 商业书籍写作的套路呢，就是 conceive a concept, flesh it out with data, then develop some tools or a framework that makes sense in a circumscribed field, and give you some examples to prove it's valid. 一本商业书籍要做的就是提取出一些洞察，提升判断力和技能，继而提升个人或者企业的表现。Keep in mind that more than 1,000 new titles are released each month alone in the United States. The good ones represent original contributions to theories and practice or provide meaningful extensions or applications of those theories and practices. The others tend to present recycled and superficial treatments of those original contributions. As the author said, the quality of business book is always spotty. You might notice that some business books are pretty easy to read. It takes me about 2 hours to finish reading a business book sometimes. I was like, oh crap, I just fell for the cover and title again. 那这里呢是需要注意一组对应词 original versus recycled and superficial. 那作者针对 compression, absorption and application 这3个阅读步骤提出了8个阅读商业书籍的建议。The suggestions are grounded and practical, notably for those who want to build a habit of reading books but have no idea what to read and how to read. I only picked some of the illuminating sentences instead of reading through the entire paragraphs. And I'll also incorporate some of my own experiences. So first things first, begin with purpose. Define your use case. Create a living document to lay out your next 5 reads can help. 找出你的问题，然后列出5本相关的书籍去阅读。About layout, there are so many things you could lay out. Lay out cards, cutleries, 摆餐具. Lay out a plan or idea, 陈述观点. Lay out a land or an application, 规划布局土地或者是应用. Lay out a fortune, 花大钱. You know, oftentimes I just visit Douban and pick some books with high scores and begin to read. The problem with it is what I got from the books slip my mind in a day, maybe 2, if I don't take any notes. If it were your case, just remember, begin with purpose. Read the introduction. I want you to pay attention to the verb-object collocations. A good introduction is dance with insights, lay out the bones of argument, summarize the topics, frame the problem, and explain the central idea. Next one, beware of bulk validity. 警惕主体是举例子验证的书籍. Watch out for long books that attempt to establish validity with bulk. If the author cannot get to the point, they don't know the point. You know, I have read so many books supplying me with tons of experiments and examples to validate the idea, and I got lost in the stories and data. Now that I know this is a deficit of a book, I would straight up without hesitation. In the face of absorption, there are 2 suggestions. Challenge the thesis, 挑战主题. The author is your thinking partner. They're there to challenge you, not think for you. Never outsource your critical thinking. 不要把你的批判性思考外包给了作者。Read, skim, or toss. 阅读、略过或者抛弃。 If the introduction doesn't move you with relevant insight, you're done. There is nothing heroic or moral about finishing a book. 那如果一本书的介绍部分不能打动你的话，请果断放弃。Well, the principle is exact one that I follow when I choose articles for my channel. Normally, the output ratio is 1 to 7 or 8. If I read 7 articles word by word from head to toe, you can imagine the workload. I guess this is so-called sunk cost. The suggestion for the last phase is harvest the book, test use cases, and reject quantity. Harvest the book and test use cases are basically about taking notes, internalizing, and putting it into practice. For how to do it, you could try my previous video, Build a Second Brain. For those who are likely to be motivated by the taglines such as 100 books I read this year, you're going to realize that your return on time invested is measured by positive behavioral change and the application of tools to produce better outcomes, not the number of books you have read. So these are all of the suggestions that the author gave us. So any takeaway from this episode? Well, if you haven't got all of the notions, don't worry, go ahead and read the full-length article in my WeChat account. This is Headlines. I'll see you next time.